So for the fourth book that I've got out for the special collection spotlight session, this is something a little bit different. This isn't really a numismatic text, and it's not a political text like the last one that we looked at. Instead, it's something quite surprising. This is one of the most interesting things I've found since I started working here, and I wasn't expecting it at all when I took it out of the case and opened it up. So what this is a book in 2 volumes entitled From Whence Nottingham Sprang, an account with an account of British coins and medals illustrating various events in history. So it came up in my search because it says it includes an account of coins and medals. Now, throughout this, and also actually in some of the earlier works, the term medal seems to be interchangeable with the term coin. So people were using both terms to refer to what we would now just call coins. However, this book, entirely unexpectedly, turns out to be a history of Nottingham in 2 volumes with illustrations for everything. When I opened it to this front page, I was very excited because this is the 2nd volume, because the coins that are illustrated here are coins of the Norman kings, William the Conqueror, William Rufus, and Stephen. And those are the coins that I've just written my PhD on, so I was quite pleased to see those. What I wasn't expecting was that then when I turned the pages, I discovered that the whole of the rest of the history has been illustrated as well. So I was thinking that would be a decorative frontispiece and then a written history of Nottingham, but instead every single page is illustrated. It has depictions of the events that happened. It has interesting borders, and it also has pictures of the coins that would have been current at the time when the particular events in question were happening. Now, this is absolutely fantastic. I was blown away by it when I opened it because it feels so current. It looks just like a modern graphic novel. I could imagine this being published now, and it's so much older than you would expect from looking at it. So the first volume was published in 1886. The second volume was published 1891. They were written and illustrated by a chap named Frederick Clement. He was a Nottingham man. He was a painter and decorator by trade, and so therefore obviously had an artistic talent. He was also very interested in antiquities and clearly also interested in coinage. He was one of the first people to take a serious interest in the caves in Nottingham. He visited the caves, and we know that he thought about and talked about what the caves may have been used for. The ideas that he came up with were slightly fanciful, we could say. Some of the things that he suggests in his book happened in the caves are highly unlikely, but the fact that it's clear that he was really interested in the history of Nottingham, in the antiquities that had been found. There are illustrations of bits of pottery and of weaponry and all sorts of things in here, as well as the coins. And it really seems as though the writing and publication of these books was a labour of love. The amount of work that has gone into them is incredible. We think that he was intending to write a 3rd volume, but that was never written, unfortunately. So there are just the 2 volumes. But we have, at the moment, we've got 3 copies of this 2-volume set within the library. 2 of them belong to the library. They're part of our collection. The 3rd copy is part of the Michael Dobbin collection, which is a collection of local history works that we have at the moment on long-term loan. Now, they are quite large books, so it would be quite difficult to borrow them anyway, but none of them are available to borrow. However, as I say, once we open again to members, all of these will be available for people to come and have a look at and flick through. It's very easy to lose an entire afternoon just flicking through these books, looking at the things that have been illustrated, and the quite nice sort of Victorian style of the illustrations, the way that he's drawn the different peoples and the different events that happened in Nottingham. The coin illustrations are really very good. They are really quite accurate. And a lot of them say specifically in the text that they are coins in the possession of Mr. J. Topless. So this is John Topless, whose book about Nottinghamshire 17th century trade tokens I spoke about as the second book in this little spotlight session. So clearly Clements was friends with John Topless and used his collection in order to illustrate the coins for the book. And the coin illustrations have clearly been taken from real coins. They are very good and very accurate. So this book was an absolute joy to discover, and I suspect many of you will want to spend many hours looking through it when we're open again. But yeah, it's nice to have this book which uses coins to tell history. So the previous books have been either academic works discussing the coins themselves, or Mary's book, which is using coins to talk about current political situations. This is a book that's using coins to illustrate history, which I think is a really, really interesting and useful way to engage people with both history and with coins themselves. So this book's lovely. I wish you were all here and able to come and have a look through it.